Sort of say, hey guys, it's Klaus. I need to do a video about the new maps. And I know I've already done a video called New Maps, but it was mainly to just get your feedback on what you guys thought. But this topic actually deserves its own video. I read all the comments you guys left and appreciate your feedback, and most of them were pretty positive about the new maps. A lot of you thought, as I did, the first impression was a lot of the maps are flatter and there's more open spaces. Some of you even talked about your experiences on different maps. You've gone to certain spots that you loved before and now you're just getting annihilated right away. And we have to be careful to distinguish between the different types of comments and opinions people have. Like, distinguish between those that say something like, I don't like this map now because I played it and I've gone to B2 3,843 times in the past and I could hide there, and now I've gone there and I died, so I don't like it. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. And then there's the legitimate comments like, I don't like it, I don't like the new maps because there's too many open spaces and fire lanes, or I really like the new maps because there's all sorts of new cover around the edges where you can hide, so on and so forth. And I'm going to give you my no bullshit opinion. Because I've played a few games now. I haven't had a great game. I've actually sucked, so I don't have a great game to show you. But I'm going to give you a little advice too, because when you roll out to play, trying to learn the new maps can sometimes be frustrating because you don't know where to go. And you get the situation where, well, first of all, there's 15 other guys trying to kill you while you drive around on a map you don't know. And secondly, you have 14 teammates that maybe 13 of them don't know where to go, and you end up following people. And the game experience may not be great for you because you just, you don't know the maps yet. So take some time. A great idea, a piece of advice here is just pop into a training room. And I'm in a training room here with Miss Smooch. All of you, hey, give her a shout out to thank her for getting in the training room here. And just on a couple of the maps that have changed the most, like this one here. What's this one called? Fisherman's Bay? Look at the changes here along the one line, and I'm just driving around here and learning a little bit about the map without people trying to kill me. And I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to me. You spawn on one of your favorite maps and you go to where you usually went before, and you get killed and you die in 2 minutes, and that's your experience on the map. You don't really get time to drive around the corners and the nooks and crannies and try and see things. So check out a training room. Just spend an hour on a couple of the maps that you're flustered with to drive around. Second piece of advice here, and this is going to be important, especially because my impression now is that the maps are flatter and more open and longer lanes of fire, is to check certain things out. Like, look at this bush that I'm way back in here. You can see all the way down the one line. But one thing to look at now, look at my view range circles. Just take note of the different positions you can go to now and how far you can actually detect someone and how far you can actually render someone on your screen. So on that one line, there's some really nice bushes way back there, and you're going to see people camping back there, and they have no clue that 2/3 of the northern part of the map is beyond their render range and they can't shoot anybody. Right? And then look at the spots here in the center. A lot of the cover is gone. A lot of it has changed, and we're just poking around here. Look at some of these bushes here. You could probably pop into positions like this at the beginning of the game if you were a light tank, and just look at the open lines of fire and look at my view range circles. My white circle is my maximum detection range. That's really important now, because if you're a heavy tank spawning in the north, a light tank can get here. You see my white circle? If you take the shortcut to the city there within that white circle, there's no cover. You're going to get blasted. So just being in the training room and going to positions and just having a quick look at where the circles fall on the map, how far do you have to move up to spot certain people? Because what you see happening now is heavy tanks getting annihilated in the first 15 seconds of the game. Just they leave the spawn, they head for the city, they head as they would usually go, and boom, 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 they're hit 7 times. Look at this spot here. If I spawn from the north and get to this bush, like somewhere around here at the beginning of the game, where am I? Like, we're right around here. I can get here fast in a light tank. look at my view range circles, my white circle there. Like the enemies, the heavy tanks that are spawning and heading towards the city. If let me zip around here, do a little switcheroo. I'm a light tank or a medium tank, and I get to this position here right at the beginning of the game. Look at my view range circles. If you're a heavy tank and you drive within that white circle, right here, and I don't even need gun depression, I'm in a Russian tank, I have clear firing lanes here. If you take the shortcut to the city now, you're toast, right? You could get killed right away, and then you say, oh, I hate this new update. The maps suck. It's terrible. All they had to do was look at their view range circles and make sure that they did not get in a position to be spotted in the first 20 seconds. Maybe take the long way to the city next time, right? So there's things that you have to learn on the new maps. And I find it easier in a training room to just drive around and learn some of these things. So you can watch me aimlessly drive around some of these maps, and I'll point out some of the positions that I think are pretty interesting. I'm not going to give you a whole map tactic, but I'm going to give you my no bullshit opinion on this update. And basically, I think this is an update that's deserving of a huge shout out. This is incredible, in my opinion. The amount of detail, the amount of work that went into not just switching the graphics engine so that everything looks so much better if you have the computing power, but just the amount of detail and the added details in the maps is just, and the reworking. What we have here basically is almost a brand new game. And I've got to say a shout out to Wargaming for giving us a brand new game. Now, whether you don't like the maps or not, or whether you suck on what used to be your favorite map, or you go to your favorite spot and you get killed now, so I don't like it. That's an opinion. You're allowed to have that opinion as well. And what I say to that is, whoop-de-fucking-do. Because, I mean, just look at this. This is Erlenberg. A lot of people have complained about this. Oh, it's flat, it's open now. But you can cross the river now. And look at me in my little light tank, cross the river and make dash. Can you imagine a platoon of medium tanks dashing around with all this new cover on Erlenberg across the river to a position like this? Or look in front of us here. Remember when you used to have to cross the river in Erlenberg? It was all open and you could zip up here and try to get to this little mound. Well, there's actually a cover along the way. It's completely changed. And you may not like it because you don't really know how to play it yet. And if you get Erlenberg now, you just have to camp or you're going to die. Well, you've driven into a bad spot and you've got killed. I understand that. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But look at the work that's gone into this map. This is basically, this is a new map. It's not an upgrade. This is a brand new map, and you have to learn how to play it. And I don't know how to play it. And anyone who tells you, it's got map tactic videos, or they know that it's shit already, or they already know the north side's overpowered, I call bullshit. They don't know yet, okay? Because it'll come out in the statistics, I guess, eventually, after hundreds of thousands of games. But it's easy to jump to a negative reaction because you die, or you don't have a great game, or your experience is different than it used to be. But I'm looking at these maps and saying, holy shit, the amount of work, the details, it's just phenomenal. And aren't you guys excited? We basically have a brand new game here. I don't know how to play it yet, but we have a brand new game. And I'm sure a lot of you have not learned yet. And I know that it can be frustrating. So trust me, get into a training room and just drive around a little bit. Don't rush out and die. Like, look at this. I didn't even know you could go here. You can cross into this little island. Imagine being an artillery and setting up here now. And also remember, when you play this game, bushes, there's so many different trees and bushes now, and all bushes and trees have different camo values ranging from 0 to 50. And it's not written on top of them. You don't really know. You have to kind of, by trial and error, figure out which ones work and which ones don't. And you could rush to what you think is a bushy bush, and you get in there and you get spotted and killed. Well, okay, you've learned. Don't go to that bush anymore. But don't just complain that the map, I hate the map. I hid in a bush and got killed. Fucking game. Give your head a shake. Look at the graphics here. Look at the walls. And I'm showing you this. I've got this game setting at medium. It's on my old system. I don't have my new system yet, but I had to do this one for you. And you know, guys, I'm the type of guy that, you know the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? Well, that's bullshit. As a matter of fact, if I don't have anything nice to say, I will tell you what's not nice to say. For example, a little while ago, actually quite a while ago, I was invited over for dinner. A nice young lady decided to make me dinner, and she made salmon, and the way she cooked the salmon was she wrapped it in tinfoil and put it in the oven for an hour and a half. And then we had dinner, and we were eating dinner, and she said, "Oh, how do you like your salmon?" And I told her, it's overcooked and dry. It tastes like pink cardboard. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Watch a video on how to cook salmon before you stick it in the oven for an hour and a half. What's wrong with you? Well, you know. Sometimes you should be nice, and I should listen to the advice of, if you don't have anything nice to say, you probably shouldn't say anything. But holy, did she ever screw up that salmon, I'll tell you that much. And at least it saved me countless more terrible tasting dinners. But look at this spot here. They've changed it. You could probably use this rubble here, even if you don't have gun depression, to shoot at these guys, right? Look at that. So there's little changes like this that in the heat of a battle, you may not find. But if you go in a training room, you can pick up these little things. Now look at the details here. I've got, one of the things I've noticed is on all of the cliff faces and the edges, what used to be like drops that you could just drop down or slide off in the past, a lot of them have been made more rugged. Like, look at this. If you try and drop off these cliff edges now to run away or slide down, it's a lot more realistic now. You're not going to be able to do that. It's not as arcadey. It's more realistic. Look at the rock faces there, and this is not in the highest resolutions. This is just in shit medium settings. It's the same map, but it's been changed. Oh, there's Miss Smooch. Let's shoot her up the ass. Nah, just a little warning shot. Go say thanks to Miss Smooch for doing this little training room exercise for me. Look at some of the other spots here that you could rush down and maybe get into a, if you got a little tank, get into a little bush like this. Huh? Try that out one game, see how it works. You know, little things like this that you could just go check out in the training rooms. Pay particular attention, like I said, to the view range circles on the map. Like if you go to that spot, what is the farthest that you could potentially spot? That's the white circle. Look at that. It also tells you potentially how close the enemies have to be to spot you. So when you're driving around to get to a spot, look at that white circle and see, are there bushes inside it that didn't exist before? There could be someone there spotting you as you go somewhere, right? Vice versa. Look at this map. Look at the different, this whole center area is completely open, but there's different little roadways and undulations along the contour here that you could, like, this is all open here, and we used to go and fight in here, remember? You do this now, it's a death trap, but there is this little road back here with all sorts of cover and rocks. See, this is a new map. This is a new game. And I'm not showing it to you here in the highest resolutions. Like I said, I don't have my system yet. And one of the comments a lot of you made were, it's really taxing your system. You have to set it at lower settings. You take longer to load in, and the game looks like shit because your computer won't run it. And I'm going to do something a little different here for you. I actually watched a tutorial on how to make your computer faster, just to try and get the most out of my old system before I upgrade here. And this is a shit system I'm on, and it already looks pretty good. I will leave the link in the top right corner of the screen. There's a little eye there and a video that this one guy named Moz, great little YouTube channel that I discovered, and he kind of goes over, if you're not a computer expert, but you still like gaming, if you're a computer expert, then just ignore this. You probably think you already know all this stuff. But if you're just, you know, you got an older computer and you want to try and get it to run just a little bit faster, more frames per second, watch this video that I've got linked at the top right corner there and follow the instructions I did, and it made a big difference on my old system here. And maybe it'll help you out, especially if you have an older system. And if it does, leave him a comment in his comment section. Say, hello from Claus. Claus sent you over, or whatever. This spot here looks to me like it would be really important at the end game for spotting or for getting the high ground. It looks like it would be sheer death to try and get here at the beginning of the game. There's probably people rushing to this spot right out of the gate, and you've got to cross open areas to get to this road to drive up. And when you get up there, there's no cover. Trying to drive here at the beginning of the game is probably like, you know, one of those games where you have and you're dead in 20 seconds and you say, I hate this upgrade. But let me tell you, my no bullshit opinion, this is a huge, almost a brand new game update, and I'm in awe when I look at these maps. You have to give credit when credit is due. This was a fantastic job. And whether you think, I've even made the comment, maybe Russian tanks will be more overpowered on the flatter areas, but I've driven around a lot, and there's a lot of cover in a lot of different places that you could go hull down with guns, with tanks with gun depression. I think the thing is that the upgrade is so vast and there's so much new that it's a little overwhelming, and trying to figure it all out in a game when everyone's trying to kill you is it's hard to make an opinion. You have to play, you know, 400, 500, 600 games, and just driving around in a training room like this, like look at this little rock. Maybe you can get here and spot everyone coming around the corner while your TDs hide in the bushes and shoot them. So, so much to learn, and the reason there's so much to learn is because there's so much new. The only thing I regret is that so many maps were removed. This is the list of all the maps that were removed, and I hope that a lot of them, I know, oh, I hated White Park, I'm glad it's gone. But remember, everyone hates something sometime. Everybody hates something sometime. And you can't remove all of them. I hope they're just reworking most of them and going to be putting them back in the game so that we have more variety. And I'm going to upgrade my system and be able to show you this stuff in a lot higher quality. And I hope a lot of you guys visit that link that I left in the top right and are able to get more speed and frames per second out of your system. If you do, leave a message there in the comments section. Say thanks from Claus. And shout out to Wargaming for giving us this great new content and huge update. And thank you, Miss Smooch, for being in the training room with me. Why don't you guys go say thanks to Miss Smooch next time. Send her a PM next time you log on, just telling her thanks. And go in a training room and look around and take particular note of your view range circles and where, not only where you can spot but where you can get spotted from on your way to your favorite spots, or to I always wanted to go to A2 and now I get shot. Well, you know, take a look at those view range circles and see if there's a bush somewhere within your white circle where someone's spotting you, and you might have to take a different route now. Do that in the training room rather than in a game, you know, because then you die and rage and quit and drive off into the water and drown yourself. Freaking game, I hate it! And I give you my no bullshit opinion on this channel. And when something comes out that's like a useless piece of shit, like the Mao Brecca for 50 bucks, you buy a piece of shit tank, I'll tell you, that tank's a piece of shit, don't buy it. But when praise is due, and in this case with this update and these maps, praise is due, I'll tell you, this is one hell of an update. Give it some time, play some games, look around, go to some new spots, and I hope, like me, you guys enjoy playing what is basically a brand new game.